Welcome back to another episode of Run Disney Rundown, and we are here to give you our Getting Ready for Princess update. So we have the event guide out, and we are looking forward. We're just, 2 weeks away now? Just under 2 weeks away. So we're going to go over your courses, what to expect, answer your questions, and all of that fun stuff. But I am not alone. I am joined by two of our Steves. First up, good old Steve Shoes. Steve, how we doing?
What's up, man? Doing well. How are you?
Good. It is good to see you again after a little bit of a hiatus.
Yes, good to be back.
And also, of course, Steve from the DCL podcast.
Good to be back. Good to see you back, Steve. I know you were out doing some shoe trials and everything like that all around the world, kind of breaking some things in and giving you reviews. So glad to have you back.
Let's go, fellas. I want a lot of back and forth banter tonight. Let's do it.
That is what we're here for. But before we get into Princess, we're going to take a few minutes just to talk about Disneyland.
Ooh, coming tomorrow.
Yep. So general registration is tomorrow. Katie and I are, hoping for some good luck to get in. We are both trying to get into Dumbo. And these gentlemen, I think, have already secured their bibs.
Well, I'll let Steve talk about it because he was the mastermind behind this. So
yeah, so I entered into the world of raising money for charity for ACS. A good friend of mine, Peter, and his family have been fundraising with ACS for a while. And,
American Cancer Society.
The American Cancer Society. Yes, American Cancer Society. And I'm happy to do it. And it's a good way to raise some money and raise some awareness, as well as reduce my stress of general registration. But more importantly, to raise some money and get a chance to, do the half. So I'm pretty pumped.
And Steve kind of shamed me into it. I was out walking the dog today, and he's like, "Dude, are you gonna do this or not?" And so I'm actually pushing back. I got to work at 7 a.m., which is like when I'm sure Lakey will go over when the registration goes and everything like that. But it's like right when everything goes live. So there was no way I was going to get in. It was going to be long gone by the time we landed in Hawaii tomorrow.
Yep. So we do have registration opening tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. That is 7 a.m. Pacific time. And I think we're all expecting this to be kind of a bloodbath. I mean, Marathon Weekend was rough last year. Hopefully we don't have the technical difficulties, but things are going to sell out quick.
I don't know if they've made any back end updates to their website. I mean, they've already released a video and how to prepare for this. I'm sure a lot of people, yourself included, have taken some time off or step away from their desk or their job or whatever they're doing for the day. Because if I remember Marathon Weekend, it was hours until they got through that queue, and there was 2.5 hours. I would venture to guess that same thing is going to happen. I would fully be prepared to not be able to get through at 10 o'clock on the dot. So, but maybe by some miracle, I will be proven wrong. But it's a big investment of time. Unfortunately, there's such a huge demand for it. So I would not be surprised if they broke the website for sure.
Yeah. Well, this would be my first Disneyland weekend, so we're definitely hoping that luck is on our side and we can get in.
Hello, Wendy. She's watching, and she says, "May the odds be ever in your favor, and everybody else out there." So,
best of luck to everyone. We do, we hope to see everyone there and out there.
What are the races again like for if people haven't really paid attention to it, or if they're not going out to Disneyland this year or thinking about it?
Yeah, so this is a standard half marathon weekend format. We have the Disneyland 5K, Disneyland 10K, Disneyland half marathon, and then the Dumbo Double Dare is returning, which is, I think, the theme I'm most excited about. I don't think I've ever had a Dumbo theme. I think that was pretty much exclusively the Disneyland Challenge theme.
Yeah, I think that probably will be the most popular.
For sure.
Yes. They all will be. But I think that would be the one that people go to first. How many people do you have to sign up? Or are you going to be trying to sign up? Just you and Katie?
Just me and Katie for sure. I know a couple other people are kind of on a chat line all hoping to help get each other in.
Gotcha. I bet you already have a system going. Multiple browsers, multiple people, nieces, nephews, cousins. Oh, they got the login info up and ready.
I know someone who is a teacher, and they'll reserve the computer labs
Oh my God.
Gosh.
and just wait for one of the computer labs to get it to go through.
See, that's what the rest of us are up. I can't even talk. That's what the rest of us are up against. You know, I got my little phone last time. I was out in DC trying to register, and you guys got a whole computer lab going after it. So
It's like
Guys, I think we have a business
2049
though.
stuff going on.
I know.
We could have a business where we will register you for race day weekend,
Yeah.
right? It's like the
Let's
folks that
not bring
stand in line
bots
for
to
people.
registering for races.
Yep. And we get a bonus if we're successful and just a flat fee for our time. But we'll discuss that offline. Who knows? Maybe we can retire.
Jennifer says, "Good luck to everybody. She's not doing Disneyland, but taking the day off for marathon weekend registration. That's going to be a tough one, I think, too." So,
God.
as always,
It's amazing the lengths that we have to go. You know, just using your paid time off to register for a race. It's just crazy. You know, the demand is crazy, but here we are.
And speaking of marathon weekend, if you sign up for marathon weekend and Disneyland weekend a week apart, you do get a special coast to coast medal. However, if you do Disneyland half marathon weekend and any other weekend as part of the 2024 race series, you do get a regular coast to coast medal. So there are two different options for coast to coast medals this year. One to incentivize you doing weekends back to back.
My wife is going to kill me. 100%. Just there's not even a question. So
I won't tell.
Oh boy, pray for me. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna think about that. I'll probably do it. I'll probably FOMO in. There's no. I didn't think this was gonna be on my radar at all, and I don't know.
You went out to Disneyland last year, I guess, with the kids and everything like that, and just kind of fell in love with it, didn't you?
I love Disneyland, and I would love the opportunity to run in a place that has weather that's bearable, and so that's part of the attraction too. Like, you know, the subtext of Disneyland slogan should be like the land of no humidity. So, you know, whereas here it's generally like a sauna when you start some of our races. So, like, I'm really looking forward to the variation and a change of scenery. Should be fun. Not looking forward to the airfare price, Steve. If you could put in a good word to a couple folks out there to help out, that'd be nice.
Supply and demand, my friend. Unfortunately, supply and demand, and it's not.
I know. I probably will be. I probably will be. Well, because that's the time of year that your particular airline does fly from Tampa to LAX.
Tampa.
Yeah, so if you can get on a nonstop there, that'd be nice. If you don't have to stop somewhere, especially like that time of the year. I mean, like there was like a ton of people for our Christmas cruise that were getting stuck because of bad weather connecting through Chicago and some other places like that. So if you can, I mean, do a nonstop, you're probably not going to run into too much weather in the southern part of the U.S. usually.
Yeah, not that time of year. And another, just a quick logistical question, actually. The Anaheim's airport is how far from?
So the closest one is Orange County, which is
Orange County, right?
Yeah, which is more expensive, obviously.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've been down there, actually, but I think it's like about a 30-minute, 20-minute Uber. Over.
Okay.
It's really quick. And then LAX you're looking at like an hour probably from there. So
at least.
Yeah. If you can go to Orange County, it's just so much easier. I mean, it's just less people. It's like a smaller airport. It's just easier getting into and out of than LAX. So
yeah, I think in a future episode, we could cover some of those logistical things. Cause I think it would be much more of a destination for people. You know, probably be new to folks. It hasn't been a race that's been, you know, at that point, it will have been 7 years, right? The last one was 2017.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well, let's definitely put together a show before the.
Yeah. I think some of the particular, it's much more confusing to me than here, obviously, with all the off-property options, where to stay. There's only 3 resorts there. So maybe 4 by then. Will the DVC tower be done?
No. I think it's like I think it doesn't go on sale until the
It goes on sale this year.
Yeah, this year. So I think it like end of this year, maybe next year.
It's 2024 at some point
Yeah.
for the tower, but that's
Yeah.
still, it's part of Disneyland Hotel.
Right. You can, and another little tip, I guess you can call on their website right now. You can't look past, I think, December 31st for a hotel, for their on-property hotels. But I believe you can call and get a quote. And I saw some of the numbers, so you can imagine how expensive it is already. It's crazy. So good luck.
Yeah, lots of good options nearby though. So.
Yeah, it's like Paradise Pier for like $1,000 a night. It's a little bit. Anyway.
All right.
Alrighty, we're gonna move into our main topic here: Princess Half Marathon weekends. And Steve, you've never ran Princess, have you?
Neither one of us have actually. So neither one of us use.
Oh, I've done the 10K.
You did the 10K. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, in 2020. Yeah.
I thought you said you hadn't done it. Okay.
It was the coldest I've ever. It was the coldest day I've ever experienced.
That wasn't cold. Yeah.
It was freezing, boy. But that was it awesome though. It was certainly a moment that you had the hoodie on and then threw it on the race course. I think we by about a half a mile in, but we were freezing in the corrals. Freezing. I welcomed it though, because it was for me really. I personally was good run conditions, but it's fun. I don't know. Like, you've done it a lot more. I don't know. I mean, obviously the theme is princesses, and
Yeah. So Princess isn't typically my favorite weekend overall, but it was my first weekend, so I kind of have like a nostalgia for it at this point. So it's always the one that I think like, oh, maybe I won't do that one again next year, and I'm always like, oh, I have to do it. Have to do Princess. But I like it. I love the themes this year. We have that like Mary Blair style going on, which I think is like honestly drastically different from a lot of the other themes that we've seen. Typically, it's just pretty standard looking princesses for the race. I really like this like altercation to the themes, and it does give it like a nice overall theme as well.
Yeah, I thought the medals looked great.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like the just kind of looking at them like the new Mickey shorts, sort of.
Yeah, it's got that like geometric style.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, like geometric style and shape a little bit to it. But yeah, definitely more Mary Blair than that. But it's got a little angle to that as well. So I love what they're doing with the theming. So I'm glad that they're kind of changing it up a little bit and being a little bit more creative.
Yeah, probably. I agree. No, I think they've done. Oh, hi, Katie. I think they've done a really good job. I think you guys really enjoyed the theme of Walt Disney World, the marathon weekend, right? Everything there aesthetically looked pretty cool. So
probably our favorite theme, I think, ever for a race.
Yeah. Some people really do. A lot of folks, once they see the medal reveal, that they sign up at that point. That's a big piece of it for them. So, and they know that. So. Yeah, I like the theme that they have, and they seem to put a lot of effort into it, so it's great.
Yep. So why don't we go ahead? We will go where all race weekends begin: packet pickup and the Expo. So Expo opens up Thursday. 10 a.m. is the first day. They are, of course, using that virtual queue. We have, of course, had kind of some mixed results with the virtual queue, but very similar if you've ever done it for Guardians or Rise of the Resistance. You go right at, I think it's 7 or 7:30. You refresh on the My Disney Experience app, and then you get a boarding number and an approximate return time. And that is only used for the first day. If you are showing up any of those other days, you won't need to do the virtual queue. And depending on how fast they move people through, they have dropped the virtual queue later in the afternoon, sometimes by like 3 or 4. I know for a marathon weekend, they used it longer than they did for Wine and Dine. But you do have that Thursday 10 to 8, Friday 10 to 7, and then Saturday 10 to 3 p.m. And this is the pretty standard setup for Run Disney. Here, I can actually go ahead and put that up here.
Anything stand out in the pre-merch at all? That you saw when you were registering?
I have not looked. I mean, I remember looking at it. My problem with the pre-merch, I am very glad that pre-purchase merch is back. I do not want them to take that away. It is a great option for people. I don't like that it's kind of all bundles, and the things that we want are all kind of part of separate bundles. So we're not going to buy all of these different bundles to get 2 or 3 things. We would rather just kind of risk it and hope that we get it, or if we don't, it's not a big deal. But this is the Expo guide map here. So the Advent Health building, that is that first building you pass. That is Run Disney merchandise. First thing you're going to see once you get through the parking lot. And then once you move up the way, actually into ESPN, Building C is the State Farm. That's where you're going to do your actual packet pickup. That should look pretty much the same as any other weekend. We're going to go downstairs, and they have the big room with all the different booths all around. And then Building B is the Athletic Center. This is the actual expo. This is where the exhibitors are. And something kind of cool is it does look like we've got some new and different exhibits going on in here. Of course, Advent Health there, Beach Life Fitness, BB Brooke, if you're familiar with her products. This is the first time she's there. B Course Charms, I don't think I've seen before. Boulder Athletic Wear is usually there. Bondi Band, Corksicle, Disney Vacation Club, something hair tool. Oh, DNA Hair Tools. Fit to Run, of course, takes up that whole middle section. Let's see, anything else really pop out to me?
I love that you can go get your KT tape and then potentially a $50,000 timeshare all in the same building. It's like DVC is amazing. I just, hey, here's some goo, and how about 200 points at Riviera? What do you think?
You guys want to be able to book your Run Disney stays 11 months out?
Yeah. Oh my God. And they walked the Grand Californian so bad that no one could get in for race weekend. It's hilarious. Anyway, sorry.
But yeah, so it does look like the expo actually looks a little bit bigger than in past. That whole left side looks like it's full of booths now. So hopefully we will be impressed and have some extra representation there. You know, I still think they need a good title sponsor for merchandise, like a shoe brand or something. You know, they used to do the New Balance shoes. I wish they would bring that back. New Balance always had some nice products with some kind of subtle Disney branding.
Yeah, I think we talked about that before. I do wish they would, because I think the perception is the folks that run these races are not serious runners sometimes, and that's not really true whatsoever. There's no such thing in the community, it's not accurate, and certainly not inclusive and really a thing at all. So I would be more interested in the merch if some of the gear, and I know you use it sometimes to run lake yourself, but typically it's not what you want to grab first as hey, I'm going on a long run today and I want my best gear. I just wish they kind of made some better quality gear that lasts a long time, and the shirts till and you wash them a couple times and they're sometimes kind of out of sorts, and just wish they had a little bit more serious branding representation from that side of things. But we'll see. I don't think it'll come true anytime soon.
Katie says the virtual queue will open at 8:30 a.m. for Princess.
Oh, there you go, 8:30 a.m. And that will show up on the app usually a couple days before. You'll see when you go to hit join virtual queue, you have the option for Guardians, or it just says ESPN at the top, and you'll hit that and it'll tell you what time it's opening, and then you go through and do your refreshing and hopefully get a good boarding time.
Boarding time.
You did some damage over Walt Disney World Marathon weekend, right?
Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah,
Are
I almost wore the because I got the black jacket with the blue stripe and the logo. I almost wore that tonight. I
Oh,
really like
nice.
that jacket, but we got a couple of the pins, quite a few different like shirts and stuff like that, magnets, a lot of things, all the things.
All the things. I love it.
Yeah, this probably. Well, we aren't even going the first day. We're not getting there till Friday, so we're gonna be at the mercy of whatever's left, which is totally fine.
Dude,
I know.
that's
What are we
very
doing?
undude of you.
Actually, for years, we used to always do. We would either go late Thursday or we would go early Friday. It wasn't until races came back actually that we were like rope drop people for it.
I typically, if I run the half that weekend, I show up on Saturday and just try to time myself and see how quickly I can get everything and get out of there. Honestly, if there was an option to just mail it to me, I would take that option. I'm not. I don't know. I don't get excited about the expo very much. I'm like in and out.
There'll probably be somebody down there like that might be able to pick up something for you that first day.
That definitely has happened once or twice.
So,
Have you ever done a meetup before?
No, we've never done like anything official.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah, it's always like one of those things that like one of those ideas that we're like, oh yeah, that might be kind of fun, and then we're like, oh, this is a lot of work, and there's like 3 places on property that everyone does their meetups at because like that's just the 3 places you narrow it down to every time.
And you guys are real disciplined about getting to sleep early too. You're really good about that.
That too, yeah. We're like getting ready for bed by 6, like pretty much asleep by 7 almost every time.
Yeah, it's impressive. I don't know how you do it.
Well, the West Coast is going to be a little bit
Melatonin.
nicer for you.
Yes.
For the two of you, at least. Actually, for me too, to be honest. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, do we want to move into the 5K here?
Just like 2 things for anybody's like if it's their first time going to the marathon. Something kind of cool is the Princess Weekend. Our first time doing Run Disney and the Advent Health. I think it's cool that they put those numbers up there, so it's a kind of great picture stop. I guess after you get through the Disney merch and stuff like that. So just kind of heads up there. And then we met Anawik and I ended up meeting Jeff Galloway in the
actual expo hall.
In the actual expo last time. There was like nobody there. There was like one other person in line in front. And so they talked to him for a little bit. So it was kind of cool. We were actually doing the run walk method, not quite his method exactly, but it was kind of cool to meet somebody like that. Little Run Disney royalty out there, I guess.
Yeah, he'll be out there at Princess. He's at, I think, every expo. And then, of course, yeah, tons of different photo ops. Typically for Princess, they'll also have the, like, Cinderella's carriage.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And they'll have the, like, the attendants there, and you can do pictures with them. They usually are, like, they have really funny banter as well in the past. And that's always been one of, like, the most popular pictures from the weekend. But if anyone has any questions about Princess Weekend or Run Disney, do feel free to drop them in the chat, and we'll pop them in the show. Otherwise, we will move on to the 5K. Have either of you guys done any Run Disney 5K?
No. It just again, it typically would run into during the week, and I've never put the time aside to do like the Thursday, Friday, all the way through the weekend. And no, but I thought about it. I actually talked about it today. My son's 7.5, and I'm getting to the point where I want to see if he's interested in doing it one day. You know, with the biggest barrier would be just, taking him out of school and getting him up that early. So we'll see. Maybe wine and dine. I don't know. I don't know if he's quite up for it, but I think he would enjoy it.
I think you see a lot of little kids. I mean, younger kids like that. So we drug our kids out when they were younger. Now they won't run at all. So unless they're doing something athletic, they have zero interest in running at all. But do it when you can. I bet he'll have a good time doing that with you, especially Henry.
Yeah, the 5Ks
Yeah, there's a minimum
too.
age at each distance, I think, for the races.
There is, but the 5K is I think pretty liberal.
I want to say it's like 5 or 6 years old. I can look that up while you guys are talking.
But yeah, we are not doing the 5K. We were just doing the 10.5 for this weekend. But we do love the 5Ks. They are just so casual. They're quick. They're easy for the most part. It's not timed. There's not really any pressure, and they're just a lot of fun. And we have found too we did the one in Animal Kingdom and Epcot now for Dopey. We actually really like the Epcot ones because there's a lot of room on the paths in Epcot compared to some of the other parks. So it is just a little bit easier to maneuver around as well with all those people. But I will go ahead and pop up that map. Just like all the races before, race start is 5 a.m. I believe buses usually start at 3 a.m. for the 5K. And you can see it is a pretty standard Epcot 5K course. Like I said, love that course though. You do start out by the parking lot and you'll go back in by Test Track. You do around the world showcase. You do a quick out and back in by the UK. And you run down towards Spaceship Earth. And we are still stuck with this terrible finish line where you got to run out and around the buildings and then go all the way down the Guardians building. I do wish they would eventually bring back the course where you run down under Spaceship Earth and then out the side. That was definitely much more interesting for like all of the races. But this is what we have for this weekend. Like I said, the 5Ks are quick, they're fun, they're just a good old time.
Would you say that, if you had to guess, like what percentage of people pretty much walk the whole thing? Not that there's nothing wrong with that, but I would think that I would probably want to stay out there and just kind of have fun and, see some characters and stuff. Is it a fairly laid back vibe and people?
Very laid back, yeah.
Yeah.
We like Katie and I typically do this like with Katie for marathon weekend. Like my whole family did it. Mm-hmm. And we would like occasionally run for like little stints, and then we would just like walk and stop and take pictures. It's very casual, and they are very fun.
Nice. One day.
Yeah, so that is the 5K course. I don't really have too much more to say about the 5K, to be honest. Like I said, we're not running it. Probably is the most like rinse and repeat of all the races this weekend. This is the same course that we see for most weekends. So nothing too new there. But we can move over into the 10K then. Let me see. Yep.
This is one I'd like to do. I'd like to get a 10K done. Because, I mean, for the most part, I mean, the 5K, well, I shouldn't even go there. I can't go there.
The 5Ks are casual, but I do think the 10K is maybe a better value. As long as you're not worried about, the pace requirements or any of that. You do definitely get a little bit more with the 10K. Obviously, more time on the course, more distance. And in this case, you actually get 2 parks. We are back to the 2-park 10K, which this is my favorite 10K. I'll pull the map up here in just a second. There we go. Yeah, so this is the same 10K that we saw for quite a few of the race weekends last year. Again, my absolute favorite 10K course. For marathon weekend, we had the 10K course that just did Epcot in the boardwalk area. Still a good course, but you don't get the 2 parks. And if we're talking about, value for the races, we want to cram all the parks in there that we can. Let's be honest. So you do start in the Epcot parking lot. You're going to make that left, and you go down through the main entrance of Epcot, which is actually a cool part of the race. I always enjoy when you go through any of those entrances or exit areas. You go right through the turnstiles there. You are going to run about a mile down on World Drive. Not necessarily the most interesting part, but typically there'll be some characters and some entertainment out there for you. And then once you get through the loop there, you are into Hollywood Studios. And I also like this part. You don't run the hill up by Fantasmic. You go around the other side of Tower of Terror, and you run in by that Cars attraction that we all forgot was there every single time. And then you run by Rock and Roller Coaster. You run like right through the main entrance to Rock and Roller Coaster, which I think is always pretty cool. Pretty cool photo spot there as well. And then you go down the Sunset Boulevard, and then out kind of that main entrance area of Hollywood. Then from there, you do run the the path from Hollywood to Boardwalk to Epcot. That path can get a little bit tight sometimes, especially when we're towards like middle to the back of the pack. So just pack your patience there. But then once you're on boardwalk, you do open up a little bit. And then once you hit 5, you are pretty much back inside Epcot. You do a very quick part of Epcot, though. Kind of just the latter half of World Showcase by the Canada Pavilion. And then same finish as that 5K that we just saw. You're going towards Spaceship Earth, and you make that right by Creations, going over and around Mission Space, and then out around the Guardians building.
Caution runner, speed bumps ahead.
10K is a great distance, and it's nice that this the second half of this should be like pretty engaging and entertaining. So, the 10K is a fun distance. Steve, I would definitely recommend finding a one of these 10Ks to come down for, or perhaps even on the West Coast at some point. But it's a good distance.
I think maybe springtime next year. But I love running along the boardwalk there too, because there's like usually like tons of people out there.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite. I would say Pandora and the boardwalk are my favorite places to run. I mean, the castle's great, but because there's still, at least they have spectators on the castle, unlike a lot of the courses now, relative to what they used to be. So I've understood, but something about Pandora and riding along and being along the boardwalk too, where you get some spectators, is a lot of fun. It's a good place to run.
Yeah, they have. So they don't really encourage people going to boardwalk anymore. People still certainly come out, but they put signs out now saying like, hey, this is a quiet area, so don't be hecka loud early in the morning.
Oh, for all the people that are sleeping.
Yeah, especially for like the 10Ks, you're basically rolling through there at like 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I'm sure if you spent, thousands of dollars to stay in a room right above the boardwalk, you're probably a little bit upset if you didn't know a race was coming through your way.
Who sleeps at Disney World? Don't you have to be up to plan and virtual queue and
it'd be up by 7 anyways, right? So you get all your virtual queues and everything else. So
yeah, I'm sure a good percentage of the people in that boardwalk area are probably running those same races or have family members that run them. So
yeah,
but yeah, I mean they've tried to limit spectating for a while, and it's definitely thinned out relative to what it used to be. I think for a lot.
Yeah, especially in that area.
Yeah,
but the half still I think gets pretty solid spectators kind of throughout.
Oh yeah.
Can hit that. I don't really have too much more to say about the 10K. I believe busing again is 3 a.m. starts at 3 a.m. for people staying on property resorts. But very typical for pretty much all of your race weekends. Again, another kind of cut and dry course for us.
Hey, like before you go into the half, that was kind of cool that they put the carriage out there for people to kind of interact with I can't remember the antennas or whatever and everything like that. Is there anything else like during Princess Weekend, like during Marathon Weekend? They've got that one spot usually in the marathon where they've got like the old rides and everything like that. Like they got one of the old Mr. Toad cars and one of the submarines and some things like that. Did they do anything special for Princess Weekend besides that carriage?
Not that I can remember recently. I know one year for Princess, they had an actual hot air balloon like on the highway. Oh. And that was pretty cool. I think that it had to have been my first or second year.
Okay. Hopefully none of those Chinese balloons actually, sink down into.
Shots fired.
Sorry. Will you guys be dressing up in theme? I'll be on it, David says.
No, we do not have any themes. I don't typically dress up, though we have discussed the idea of like doing kind of character bounds for race weekend, but typically I've never like done any sort of dressing up or bound.
I give folks that do it a lot of credit.
A, for sure.
And B, the chafing, because bless you. If you could tolerate some of that, some of the cheaper aspects of the costume and the polyester rubbing against you for 6, 13, 26 miles, you're a way better person than me. That's amazing. But there's some fun stuff out there.
Yeah, I do know a friend of the show, Jason, definitely has some pretty cool costumes on the way for Princess. They were kind of dropping some hints about it when I saw them at Celebration Half.
So much chafe.
So much.
So much chafe.
But yeah, why don't we go ahead and move on to that half marathon? Now, for the half marathon, busing does start 30 minutes earlier. You do still have that 5 a.m. race start time, but you can get the buses at approximately 2:30 a.m. And of course, with the half marathon, you do get the walkout. So once you get through security, you have basically almost a mile walk to go from the start of Epcot all the way out to the actual corral areas. There are A, B, C, D. There are up to F for the corrals. E and F are on the left side of the road, and A, B, C, and D are on the right side of the road. But you are starting on Epcot Center Drive. I do actually prefer this start, like even with the walkout. I just always have a much easier time like getting into the corrals. There's no like weird movement to get to the start. It's just like, here is the start line. Matthew also asked, for longer races, do you wear hydration? No, not for races, especially Run Disney. You get water almost every mile of the race, if not every mile. It's pretty close to every mile. And then they do also offer a food option right before mile 8. I will pop that course map up there in just a second.
I always bring a handheld bottle for half and up distance, just because it's so. Sometimes it could be again like incredibly hot, so your electrolyte loss is really high, and so replenishment depending. It's very personal how much the concentration of electrolytes that your body loses when you're running. But yeah, and if you're not used to Gatorade or Powerade for electrolyte replenishment, you probably want to bring your own thing, whatever you trained with. Otherwise, you might get so. I will typically bring a handheld bottle.
Yeah,
personally,
certainly a lot of people do. Christy, who has been on our show a couple times, also runs with a bottle as well. And then if you have a very specific nutrition plan, if you're someone that does like liquid nutrition, like IV or Tailwind, then of course you would probably want to carry that. Lots and lots of people do run these races with bottles or vests for sure.
Yeah, you can also get salt tabs if you don't want to carry anything. If you just need a little extra electrolytes.
I think the only thing they've really been giving out, well, I don't even know, they only have like one food stop, and it's generally been the sport beans lately, hasn't it? Like
it has, yeah, it's been sport
like
beans.
Those.
Yeah, if you don't like that, you want something different. Probably plan on that, I guess, for Princess.
Yep. So then, of course, we got that 5 a.m. race start. This is the big one, the half marathon. And this is the classic half marathon course. I love this course. And of course, once you hit that mile 4.5 or so, like you get all that hype. That is running through Magic Kingdom, I think, is like the iconic Run Disney experience. You get the crowd through Main Street. You get running through the castle, the characters along the way, the pictures. This is just classic Run Disney. This is, I think everything you expect out of a course for Run Disney. But you do start on Epcot Center Drive. You do have quite a ways till you make it to the Epcot parking lot, or not Epcot, the Magic Kingdom parking lot. Typically, when you go through the Magic Kingdom parking lot, there's like a good stack of entertainment. There's almost always a band there. And then there'll sometimes be 2 to 3 different character stops, pretty much all like back to back there. So I do really enjoy that. And then, of course, the TTC always has like a really good crowd of people cheering. Probably one of the more hype areas of the race outside of being in Magic Kingdom. It's actually a really good area. And then once you get out of there, you're at mile 4. You have less than a mile until you are at Magic Kingdom. And that's also a cool area. You run under the water bridge there. And then you have Contemporary to your right. You have Magic Kingdom coming up to you on the left. And then, of course, right before mile 5, you are running right through the gates of the front gates of Magic Kingdom. You're going around down Main Street. Most hype part of the race for me. people cheering. There's people, hugging family members and stuff. You were just about halfway there. And of course, you're running right down towards the castle. I don't know. For me, this is like just always the coolest part of the race. Just seeing all those people who took the time to go and get into Magic Kingdom, because they don't really make it super easy. Those people kind of had to do some work to get over into Magic Kingdom. So thank you to all the people that go and do that, because you definitely make the experience something special for everyone running those races. Katie says, I'm so excited to run this course again and go all out. I was lazy at the January half. Well, understandably so. You did have a marathon the next day. But anyways, once you go down Main Street, you do cut a right. I actually really like this part towards Tomorrowland too. Just the way the lighting and everything looks in this area is really neat when you're running down through it. And then you cut the left by the Speedway there, and you do another left through Fantasyland. We are not running through the backside of it this time, which we have done in the past, where you go by the circus and then the Beauty and the Beast restaurant. I can't think of the name of it right now. Be our guest. But then you do get your kind of second hype area where you were running down through the castle. You get that cool pic of you in the castle in the background. And then you are going out by Frontierland. You run Frontierland along the Tom Sawyer Island area, and you are making a straight out. There is no weird little secondary loop that you have to do. And you are basically making your way back to Epcot after that. You do hit mile 6. This is kind of a boring part. It's pretty dark back there usually. Sometimes they have a DJ, a couple character stops. And then once you get to Grand Floridian, there is usually some crowds out there cheering. Typically there is some charity representatives out there kind of squatted up and cheering as well. Mile 7, you're right by the Polynesian. Typically where you're going to see they'll have the Mickey golf cart out. Typically some character stops along the way as well. You're going to hit food stop right in there as well. And then once you hit about mile 8, there is some new traffic going on. So you do actually run up a big ramp now. It's not a flat area. So do look out for that. It is, it's really not an extreme amount of elevation, but it is a big up and down. You're running on a big overpass essentially.
It's a great place to pass a lot of people when you get up over the hill.
Just moving it up that hill.
Move it out. Just keep moving. The army, something. No, I guess it's down around the other corner. Sometimes they've had the Green Army guy. I haven't even seen him for a while.
He was out at the marathon. He was super early. Yeah.
Oh.
He was, when you ran the marathon, he was right before you were running a loop right before Epcot. It was the first 2 miles of the race.
Yeah. You know what? I remember now. Okay.
Yeah.
It was a her. It was a her this time.
You are right. Yes.
Yeah.
But once you're on World Drive, you're back on World Drive for about 2 miles or so. Hit mile 10. That is where Sarge should be typically for this course. Right up on that mile 10 loop with 3 miles to go.
It's like that downhill over there, right? Uphill?
It's an uphill around the loop. And then you get another little uphill too before you go through the parking lot, I think.
That's
yeah,
right.
You have kind of a lot of up and downs in this mile 10 to 11.
Mm-hmm.
It is pretty much a whole straight mile stretch, but it's all up and down, up and down, up and down. But typically there's a DJ out there as well, character stops, a water stop right before you make that quick turnaround, and that's where you're basically heading right back into Epcot then. The Epcot part is very quick. You are basically running across Epcot. You go in by Journey to Imagination. You are running straight pretty much across... I can't even think of what that section's called because it's all construction there and there's nothing there to actually look at and see. But it's almost like following the monorail loop. And then you run up by Connections, and it's the same finish as we've seen for the rest of the weekend. Where you're going out by Mission Space around the Guardians building, and you just did your half marathon.
We hear that gospel music going. Hopefully they'll have them out there for Princess too. I don't know. Do they have them out there for every race?
I think it's been every race, at least this year.
Okay.
They were out for Wine and Dine and for everything for Marathon.
Yeah, they had this like gospel. As you come around the corner before you make that final turn where you're just going to the straightaway for the end of the finish, you can hear some gospel music going, and it's awesome.
Yeah, they had like for marathon weekend, they had like all sorts of stuff going on though. 'Cause I know one day they had like Queen going.
Yeah, that's true. It's a gospel choir. They may not necessarily be singing gospel music, I guess, but
But yeah, it is a good time. And like I said, this is an iconic half marathon course. You know, this is very classic Run Disney. We love this course. Or I love this course at least. This was my first half marathon, so again, a little bit nostalgic for it.
I'm with you. Like, I think it's a great course. Just the backside when you go by after you got through the Magic Kingdom, and because it's like kind of all hype and you're fresh and everything like that, and a lot of emotion going through, keeping you going through Magic Kingdom. And you get that backside; it's a little bit long and dark back there, but it's a great course.
Yeah. I really do think it goes by like way faster than it looks.
Yeah, after you get out of Magic Kingdom though and through the resort area, it seems like a long way. So it's a while till you're back in a park again. But it's a good course. There is great energy running into Magic Kingdom. The first half of it goes by pretty quickly, and it's fun depending on the time that you start and how whatever your pace is. You may be in Magic Kingdom when it's completely dark. Sun may be coming up, so yeah, it gets pretty dark in Magic. I mean, sometimes I've lost my footing a little bit in there. Like it gets pretty dark in there, honestly.
It does get dark, and if it's still dark when you leave Magic, there's like a road that is just always like pitch black.
Yeah, totally.
And that part's a lot of fun. If you do want to see more of this course, I do have multiple videos now of this exact same. This is the same course as the half marathon from this year, and it's also the same course from Princess last year, both of which I have race videos of. It pretty much goes through like all of the major parts of these courses.
And if you're stuck like me on a treadmill in the winter back here with the rain and everything like that, and the cold and the wind, it's a great thing to watch as you're running on the treadmill too, to kind of motivate you.
Yeah, they're good. You use the Insta camera, right? Like
I do, yeah. It's the Insta360 Go-To. Just clips on my little hat.
Yeah, it's great. I wonder if there's any Disneyland POVs out there. Maybe I'll have to go look.
I'm sure there are. I haven't like gone to see, but
I know there's an Instagram account,
so we can make some.
Yes. There's an Instagram account. I think it's like Team Run Disney or something like that. Sometimes they link like almost like virtual maps, taking you through like almost looks like a flyover.
Yes, I have seen that. It uses it like flies over like the Google Maps kind of, but it uses the like the low one that gives you like the 3D settings.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. Yeah, it's definitely kind of nice. And I think they posted something, I want to say with the last Disneyland course. I'll take a look, but
I think it's all on VHS, Steve. So it's been so long.
That's your era, sir.
I know. I date myself.
Team DVD here. I'm looking forward to. Yeah, these courses are really great, and I'm looking forward to a little bit of springtime to transition, just to have something a little different. I've never done a 10-mile race, so we're going to do that, and getting to run through Galaxy's Edge, which I think they'll do that again, because certainly you're going to run through. It's Toy Story themed, so you're going to run through Toy Story Land. So it's nice. It's a privilege to run all these races, so I don't want to say I'm like bored of the same courses. There's not that much more they can really do. But I've definitely run this one before, so I'm just excited to do something a little different.
They could definitely bring that sweet wine and dine course back.
Yeah. I love that one, and that's my favorite. I actually
that was my favorite half course too. I loved that one.
Still might be my favorite weekend of them all. Again, it's one of those I think that I've been, since I started this, it's been the one that I've done each year. I haven't missed one over the past, aside from the COVID hiatus, but I started at the Star Wars half, which was interesting.
We had a good time at Wine and Dine though. Like the whole weekend was just a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. Wine and dine's great because I also think it's the start of it, and for me, I get really happy because it's typically when the oppressive, horrendous summer starts to actually end here. Like all you guys can breathe for a little bit, and we're just dying because you're just training. Like the block of training leading up to that, if you start in August going through November, it's really rough. Like those are really the dog days. Like when you're it's Halloween and it's still really hot. And typically wine and dine's been when it started to break a little bit and not be as humid. And it's the start of the Run Disney season for me. So I really like that weekend. So, but Princess looks great. I wish you guys the best of luck. I hope everybody who's running has a lot of fun. Maybe next year I'll do that Princess weekend instead of a different one. I don't think I can't do all of them. Not enough money on the money tree for all.
No, we can't. We can't be wild like us. And
no, I my kids take a lot of my disposable income, but but I gotta be wise. Resources are always scarce, right? Time and money. So maybe next year.
Wendy says, "I'm so excited, and hopefully I get to meet you guys." Like I said, we'll be at the 10K and the half marathon. We'll also be at the Expo at some point on Friday. Not exactly sure what time we are rolling up then. Probably earlier in the day if I had to guess. But then typically after the races, we do try to hang out for at least a little bit. You can typically find us like to the right of the bleachers by where the characters are. That tends to be like the go-to stand around and wait spot. But yeah, we'll be there. Also, if you're on Instagram, feel free to message us on Instagram. Say, hey, you guys, still hanging around the finish? We'll happily come and meet you.
And just a little practical thing from before that for ages with each distance, just real quick. For a 5K, you have to be 5 years of age or older on race day to participate. The 10K, 10 or older, and the half, 14 years of age or older. I didn't see anything on the.
I really thought you were going to say 13. I was like, oh, that was really clever.
Right, 5 to 5, 10 for 10, right? Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
I just ruined it with that one.
Yeah. So that's good to know. But good stuff. Looks like a fun weekend ahead. Can I ask where will you guys be? Do you have any fun plans?
So we are back at Coronado again, actually.
Great. I love Coronado.
Yeah, we are same situation as last time.
Yep.
With all of that. So we are really looking forward to that. I think we are actually in the tower this time, which will be the first time we're in the tower.
Oh, it's
Nice.
great.
But we did Coronado for Wine and Dine, and it was like an awesome weekend experience. It was great for the weekend.
Yep.
They get good food options there if you don't want to leave too. I mean, you got Three Bridges, and then they've got like the sports place too. And
I think it's the best. I know people like the themes of like Port Orleans and some of the moderates, and I do too. But I think Coronado all around is the best moderate resort, club level.
well, that,
Here we go.
Well, that explains it right there, right?
How many of these 1%ers do we have in this chat right now? I mean, my God, club level. Jeez, I'm talking about your standard room,
Yeah.
It's already juicing people for $350 a night. We're going all the way up to club level.
You and I are schlepping it over to the food court. They're up at the club level, just having grapes poked into their mouth and everything like
Jeez.
that. So.
I get my sleeping bag sleeping by Three Bridges over there. I get on property. My
See
God.
Steve climbing the temple at night.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I've seen that a couple times now. People do that. Jeez. No, it's a great resort. That bar at the top level too of the tower is awesome. And was it Barcelona bar or whatever they call it? I forgot what it's called. Dali or what? I don't even know what it's called. But
The restaurant is Toledo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet. I think Three Bridges is great. But I haven't been to Toledo, and then they have the sports bar in there too. Rick's. It's okay. You can skip it.
Yeah. At least you can sometimes almost get into it.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah.
Unless you're us.
Unless
And
you're
you
us.
just can't eat anywhere all day.
There's a huge college football rivalry going on, and you can't get into that place at all. Yeah, good resort. Well, have fun. And any special plans to celebrate after? You stay until Monday?
No, we're heading back Sunday. This is kind of the quick weekend for us.
Okay.
Springtime will be a little bit longer since we are running all the races. You have to actually be there the whole weekend.
Are you doing
But
5, 10K, and 10 miler?
for springtime, yes, because the challenge is all 3 for that weekend.
The challenge is all 3. Well, we'll all be there for the 10 miler.
Yep. So this will be really kind of like a quick in and out weekend for us. Getting, going back to work and all that fun stuff. Because, we got some other fun things in the book for this year. Of course, Eugene Marathon coming up just 2 weeks after springtime.
So it'll be a good training run for you then.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Little 10-mile tempo. Whatever coach says.
Whatever coach says. That's how that works, yeah.
We'll just be trying to keep up with Steve.
It'll be the other way around. But I'm excited about the Eugene Marathon at the end where you get to run through the stadium and everything like that. That's gonna be kind of cool also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diversifying the races.
Yeah.
That'll be the first time we travel for a race, so that'll be pretty cool.
The Dahlia Lounge there, Steve.
Dahlia Lounge, that's it. Yeah.
Did I say that right? After Salvador Dahlia or whatever?
Yeah.
Dali or something?
Dali is the artist. The
Yeah.
artwork in there is all, I guess, an interpretation and representation of Dali and some Spanish art. It's really cool. Yeah, great resort. You guys are going to have a great time.
Yeah, have a great weekend. Enjoy. I hope you guys have just a great races down there. Everybody that's going, I hope just enjoy your time down there at Walt Disney World. Nothing better to spend time with family and friends or whatnot. And running's just a great way to do it. So
absolutely.
But I think that is all we got. Again, this wasn't the most comprehensive rundown of the weekend. They do have the event guide out for all of your needed details. You can always message us or leave a comment if you have any other questions. But that's going to close out our show. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, all of that fun YouTube-y stuff. And we will see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.